Hello, everybody. Welcome to NASCAR Inside the Race. I am Alex Weaver. As always, that is my co-host, Steve Letarte. And Steve, it's official. We've made it to the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Daytona sealed the deal. We're done with the regular season. It was Ryan Blaney who went from 13th to 1st in 2 laps, got it done. I know his second win of the season. It's a big deal. Former champ wins at Daytona for his second win there ever. But the more important thing is we know the 16 drivers that are going to compete for a title at the end of the season and try and win in advance over the next couple of weeks.
There's no season like the postseason. Doesn't matter the sport. The regular season's fine. But if you're a fan of a team or fan of a driver, you're either elated because they have a chance or you're crushed and you are reloading for next year. I think the sentiment's the same in the garage. Daytona gave me everything I needed. We had a whole bunch of names at the front that had a chance to win, and you're in. Ryan Blaney spoiled the party, reminding us all once again, while certain winning drivers are winning drivers, right? He's closed the deal against all of those guys. But you mentioned it. It's the playoffs. It's the postseason. 16 drivers, and we're going to cut it down to 12 in just 3 short weeks. I say this every year. You know, we try to predict, and we think we know what these guys are going to do. But the truth is, every year, I feel like the playoffs have their own feel, and they kind of ebb and flow and change every week. And kicking it off with this round and the tracks in this round being Darlington, St. Louis, or Worldwide, whatever you want to call it, in Bristol, I'm pretty jacked up.
Yeah, we're going to break everything down, including track by track, driver by driver, team by team. There's a lot to break down in this 16 playoff field, the closest ever as far as points from 1st to 16th. So we're going to have a friend of ours that's joining the show here, and I'm strictly bringing him on right now because I want him to tell Steve Letarte he is wrong. That's all I want Russell to do. Steve, you give him such a hard time. I know he's secretly hates working with you for the last decade just because of how much crap you give him. So Russell, I'm giving you an opportunity from Racing Insights to just fact check Steve only and tell him how many times he's wrong this show. But welcome to the show.
Yeah, I don't secretly dislike working with Steve. It's well known that I don't like working with Steve.
There we go.
Right,
I love
Steve?
it.
Oh, listen, everybody has a rider. This is mine. If I'm going to be in the booth, I got to have Russell there next to me, half for information and half for just pure entertainment to keep me dialed in over a 4-hour broadcast. But no, it'll be good because, look, I'm glad Russell's here because when I look at, you mentioned it, the closest ever, 30 points separates first to last, Larson to Bowman. There's a lot of, the beauty of the playoffs are this. Let me just jump right into it. There are stats and then there's emotion. And I think that's what makes sports the best because I think we can handicap looking at the numbers, but then you still have to go do it, right? It's like making a free throw in an empty gym is a whole lot easier than in the NBA finals. Well, it's that time of the year for these drivers. And everyone will tell you it's just like every other week. And everyone will give you the whole story. I guess that's a lie. The one guy who'll tell you is pressure is a privilege. Like we hear that a lot out of both really Logano and Chase Elliott say it. And I think that's the best part is the pressure is real, even if the drivers don't talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. Before we dive into the rest of the playoff field, I want to put a bow on the end result that came out of Daytona and that Saturday night race because Tyler Reddick obviously advanced with all of the chaos and the craziness. He advanced, at the halfway point of the race. And then because there was no new winner, it was Ryan Blaney who wins again for the second time this season. It was Alex Bowman and the 48 team that got the last piece of the puzzle complete. They are the final spot in the playoffs. So that's how that shook out for the 48 team. My question now that I'm going to throw out to Steve and Russell, please fact check us on this. Can the 48 actually make it out of this first round? Or is it like, hey, you made the playoffs, congrats, but we'll see you after 3 races?
I actually think the 48 can. I think Alex Bowman, while not flashy, did make it in. I think some of it is let's remember how he was eliminated a year ago for the fan that has forgotten. He advanced out of the Roval when the checkered flag fell and then being too light in post-race inspection eliminated him. As a guy who's had these crushing emotional losses, right, there is a hangover to that. And I think the 48 kind of has raced a little bit with that hangover. And I'm waiting for the cold water to go on the to kind of splash on the face of the 48. And I'm hoping that's what happens here in the first round for their sake, because I think he has the firepower. When I look at the numbers, first of all, we're not really missing anybody for me. That's going to be a super unpopular statement in the championship or in the playoff 16. You could throw a Buescher in there or this or that, but I don't have like a round of 8 driver missing. Of the guys I think can go into the round of 8, they're all in the playoffs. There's not a huge shock. There's some drivers that could be interchangeable, but I don't think they change the playoff field. Bowman's one of those. I have Bowman moving out of the round of 16. I really do. Russell, give me an argument why he can. I think he can.
Oh, he totally can. Like entering Daytona before that wreck, his average finish in the last 10 races was 8th. Like you can make an argument he's been the best Hendrick driver over the last several races.
So, Steve, the question that I posed to you, obviously, right now he's entering Darlington 5 below, which doesn't sound like a lot. But when you look at the rest of the drivers that he's kind of stacked up against, we have Austin Dillon, which is a wild card in itself after his win at Richmond. Glad he got it done because he proved that he could do it again. But the 3 is kind of a wild card for me. And then you look at the 45 of Tyler Reddick, who got in just because of all the chaos of Daytona, and the 48 ended up having more damage on his car than the 45 did. And then Josh Berry, who won, if folks remember, way back in Vegas, which is kind of a wild card for me too. So, I mean, is there a driver that you're looking at that could possibly shock, I guess, that first round?
So I think Tyler Reddick could get his first win of the season. That would be the big shock. If you're asking for what could shockingly happen in round 1, that would be the one for me. You know, he's
Do you
a driver.
have him winning at Darlington?
What's that?
Do you have him winning at Darlington?
I think Reddick could win at Darlington. I think it's a low grip racetrack, 23-11. Like we forget how good Bubba was at Richmond. I know we're going to talk about Austin Dillon, but Bubba and Reddick were unbelievable. At least 2 of the best 3 cars. We'll put Austin Dillon in there as well. You know, Reddick got wrecked in that Suarez, Ty Gibbs debacle. And then Bubba, they couldn't get the wheel on. So neither driver did it wrong, right? I think both drivers were doing the right thing. So I actually think if you wanted a shocking round 1 prediction, it happens race 1. Reddick winning race 1, I think would upset some playoff cards because I think he has the firepower. Russell, low grip racetracks like Richmond, Miami, Darlington. Yep. I know people don't think those are all, but the way Russell and I look at races, he hates. But, you know, when I look at tire fall off races, those are right up Reddick's alley.
Yeah, totally. He's been runner-up at Darlington twice. Even with RCR, he was runner-up there. So, like, this is a great track for him. This is one of his better tracks.
So I think when we leave Bristol, the 4 drivers that are not in, we will be able to point out where they were eliminated. And what I mean by that is I think all 4 will have either a mechanical or an accident or a DNF, or even if it's not a technically DNF by the definition, it'll be a race that they have damage and run 3 or 4 laps down. They'll be an outside top 30 finish at some point in the first 3 races. And I just think the way the points work and the lack of, let's look, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 drivers with multiple wins. 1 being SVG. We're going to take him off the list because I don't think he can win in the first round. Now we have 5 guys with multiple wins. So that just leaves a big number of drivers that don't have the firepower to recover from a trip up. So I think round 1 isn't about advancing. It's about not being eliminated. So I think if you don't have a 30-plus finish, you'll have a chance. Somebody will be 30-plus in their finishing, and that's how we're going to eliminate 4 drivers.
Okay, Steve. So if you were a crew chief of one of those bottom 4 teams right now, what are you telling them? Mistake-free days?
So I think it's different for each one. I think for Alex Bowman, it's be who we are, which is we're better than everybody gives us credit for. We hang around long enough. We win a race every year or every 16 months that nobody thinks we should win. We're never anybody's pick, and yet all of a sudden we win one race. We jump out of nowhere and we win the Chicago street course. You know, things like that happen to the 48. When I look at Austin Dillon, I think it's a real battle. Like, I don't know what it is about Richmond. He's a Richmond whisperer. He's unbelievable there. I'm not going to take away his flowers. If Richmond was in the first round, I'd have him advancing, but it's not. Tyler Reddick, I think it's that. I think it's you should be very disappointed you haven't won a race. And for them, I don't think it's about advancing. I think for Tyler Reddick, if I'm on this team, it's about finding some momentum. Because right now, if they limp through without a DNF, I just don't know if they have, how far are they going to go? It's a different conversation when you get to Josh Berry. I think Josh Berry is, hey, we had speed at the beginning of the year. We don't have it now. Right. So I get that answer is different for each person. Right. If I'm crew chiefing Austin Cindric or Josh Berry, my conversation is probably going to be about efficiency and not having that plus 30 and trying to point our way through. But if I'm Tyler Reddick, I just wonder if it's time for let's go. This is one of the trenches. Like, if we want to be a championship, I have a list of drivers wrote down that I think are championship 4 contenders. And at the bottom, I have the 45 with a circle and a question mark because I want to make him a championship 4 contender. But Russell, I don't know if we've seen championship 4 speed or performance. I mean, we're winless after 26 for Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the lack of speed. I have him as like the 5th best car of the year on speed, and his stage points are incredible too. He's scored 167 stage points, I think, and that ranks like in 3rd of anybody.
Where's his picture then? Like, where's it going wrong then?
So for him, it's they just can't put it together. Like his pit crew is probably his worst category when I look at the way I judge these guys. Like, he's 5th fastest on speed. He's the 4th best at passing. He's 8th best on restarts, but he's the 15th best pit crew. So like that's where I see him having a problem. But I don't have a problem at all with him, really. Like,
Russell, is the 23 still the best on pit road?
He is.
Okay,
yes.
So that's interesting to me too. The fall off of the 23 and the 45 on pit road. I don't know where that has gone wrong.
That is a great point. Same organization, same pool of talent.
Exactly.
Now, now look, stats will tell you that 1 out of 3 pigs will build their house out of brick because Bubba Wallace had the best pit crew yet. That's what cost him the chance to win at Richmond.
Here we go.
Do you know how many times a week I hear that?
Well, Russ, you just told me he was the best pit crew, yet the wheel came off at Richmond. So if I'm a fan listening to this, I'm going to be like, I don't know if I'm listening to that Russell guy because he just told me these guys were the best.
No.
There's a very large sample size, my friend.
No, I know. I kid.
Okay, so let's kind of dive in a little bit more to the 3 of Austin Dillon because we've talked about Tyler Reddick. Obviously, we know that the 45, he can win. He has some tracks coming up on this playoff schedule that he can not only win, he may dominate at some of them and may show.
I will say though, hold on, let's 45 outside the numbers. Russ gave us the numbers, but let me just give you the outside the numbers. I didn't know what I made of his interview in Daytona.
Yeah,
it was very somber. It was very like it reminded me of Chase Elliott. Now, for Chase Elliott, it wouldn't have bothered me because I'm like, man, when Chase is his best, he is putting himself in the bullseye of making. Like, Chase never points the finger at the car or the pit crew. He's always, it's we when we're doing good. And Chase Elliott is famous. I need to do better. I mess this up. He takes all the pressure on his own shoulders. I do like that about him. I don't know about Reddick. Like, I don't know. I like flashy Reddick. And he was way more emotionally crushed making the playoffs. I don't know what to make of it, but that I think makes me a little bit worried is not the wrong word. I guess it's going to be hard to kind of predict where the 45 is going to land at Darlington. I actually think the first lap of practice for the 45 couldn't be more important. Like, if he jumps up there top of the board, it's going to be like, okay, he's back. It's going to be like an adrenaline shot for this 45 team.
It's kind of been the Reddick of recent, though. Obviously, I'm good friends with Alexa, his wife, and Tyler back in Xfinity days. For folks that don't know this, he was always nerdy. He was all like, you couldn't expect what an interview with him was going to be like. He could talk about his cats. He could talk about Star Wars. It was like, where is this interview going? How did we get here? And it was always like very quirky, fun, lighthearted. And then he came into Cup and he sort of had those glimpses of moments, but there was definitely some more of, when I lose a race, I lose the race. And he took a lot more of a somber tone in interviews for me post-race. So that's interesting that you're also seeing it, Steve, because I felt, being a friend of his, I felt the shift as soon as he made it to Cup.
But remember, last year he was a regular season champion. So this was like a big difference for him. So
and he was running from his motorhome because he was having stomach problems and we all had to wait on him to get his regular season trophy. Do you remember those days? Man.
So that's a good reminder. So regular season champ to the 15th seed coming in on points. Yeah.
Something switched between this season and last for me. I don't know.
We need that Tyler Reddick that won Miami. Because that Tyler Reddick that won Miami with that move around Blaney on old tires, that is a championship-driven Tyler Reddick. And I don't know where he is or what that was, but that's the 45 that needs to show up.
Yeah, Darlington is a big one circled for me for the 45. I kind of think I don't want to say a Hail Mary for them this week, but I think this is the week where they, you got to finish in the top 5 if you're Tyler Reddick at Darlington for me. All right, so right now we're talking about the drivers that are below this elimination line for the first round of the playoffs. We've discussed Alex Bowman. We've discussed the 45 of Tyler Reddick, but sitting 1 point below. So Alex Bowman is 5 below the elimination line. Then it's Austin Dillon, 2 below the elimination line. So Russell, we've talked about this being the closest points field ever that we've seen in the playoffs, but we basically have 4 points separating 13th to 16th and only 6 points separating 16th to 12th. So if we look at Austin Dillon right now, he's only 3 points above Alex Bowman, only 1 point behind Tyler Reddick. But a wild card for me in the playoffs is at the 3s in this playoff field.
Yeah, I think these tracks are actually a good set of tracks for him. His average finish at Darlington's 15th, which is like his 4th best track. He finished 6th at Gateway last year, and then it's Bristol. I think anything can happen at Bristol. So I think this is probably a good set of tracks for him without Richmond.
Steve, does Austin Dillon make it out of the round of 1? Round of 16, I guess. First round.
No.
Agreed.
I look at it like this. I have some wild cards in the first round. SVG's a wild card for me. Josh Berry's a wild card for me. The beginning of the year was unbelievable. They've kind of been a little bit quiet late. Reddick, as we just discussed, is a wild card the other way. I think he has every bit of ability. So no, I think Austin Dillon can he? Yes. Would I have him advancing? I don't. I have Dillon being one of the drivers not making it out of the round of 16.
So, Steve, the way I look at this is he needs to score, like these guys to advance need to score somewhere in like the 2,075 points range. Right?
Okay, so for the fan at home, everybody starts with 2,000 and something. So if you need 2,075, you're telling me that Dillon needs to score 70 points in 3 races.
Correct.
That ain't happening.
No.
What's the average for points this year?
It's not going to be what you want to hear.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, it's not what he's going to want to hear. I don't have a dog in this fight. But so, okay, let's look at that then. Let's start at the top. Larson, Byron, Hamlin, Blaney, Bell. Are you eliminating any of those 5? I'm not.
No.
Okay. SVG, first wild card. Chase Elliott. I have a little bit of asterisk next to Chase Elliott. Briscoe, same thing. Bubba Wallace. Like that's from Shane down, from 6 down is where it really gets to be questionable. I think the top 5. How about this? The top 5 can have a DNF because I think they have the firepower to win. So I think that makes them even more. It would be shocking. Now they
the
still have
one
to show
the one that I think may, and I don't want to call it a shock because I don't know if it will shock because it seems to be how his seasons go. It would not surprise me if Joey Logano is eliminated at Bristol.
Ooh.
Just because I feel like he has these strong, dominating championship years. And then the next year, it's kind of like the sophomore slump. We see like he can't really push forward in that opening round. So I don't know.
Look at Russell. Russell's looking at the numbers to agree with you. He can't wait to go ahead, Russell.
So she's not wrong. She's not wrong, Stevie. So, but he's the only guy that's won at all 3 of these tracks in this round. So I think he's got to feel good about that.
Yeah.
So
because correct me if I'm wrong,
global.
Russell. It was 2022 he won the championship. 2023 he got eliminated at Bristol. 2024 he won the championship.
Correct.
So here's how I look at it. There's no better race to start the playoffs. 500 miles at Darlington is grueling, and it's the biggest test. So I'm going to feel great about anybody that can find their way through. But I will tell you that Joey Logano, much like Saturday night in Daytona, he was in position to win, and then he gets spun off the nose of whoever's car it was. So, does the 22 have the wherewithal to advance? But it's not really firepower. They do it like a little differently with strategy and points and some other things. So I don't think you're crazy with that with the 22. I can see him being below the cut line.
So I think he loves this playoff format though, and he thrives under this pressure. So
he does.
That's one thing I'd say about him is he's all here for this.
So I would let's talk about the other way. So you said it was the closest. I think the closest is better for Logano. So let me just completely flip it. He always comes in towards the bottom. He never has a great regular season, it appears.
That's true.
So the fact that the field is closer means he's less behind. Like, I think he has less to make up. Like, he's actually coming in above, and another way to look at it, he's only coming in 25 points away from first. I don't think he started the playoffs within 25 points of first probably ever. And
I mean, the
Russ is
22
laughing
can
because
go
I'm
and
asking
win
to look that up, but
he can go and win at Worldwide Technology, and then it's ball
but I don't
game.
think he
We
has
don't
to
even have
win.
to
I
worry
think
about
is my
it
point, because he's not so far behind. Russ, you can tell me I'm not wrong, am I?
I think you are wrong at that, but I wasn't gonna blow you up there.
Where does he normally come in points down? 25 points behind is closer than he's been most years.
He was 33 back from the lead.
Yep. So he's closer this year at 25 than he was last year at 33 back.
Okay.
To be the champion. Yeah. They don't have a manufacturer of points. Like, Chase Briscoe has 109 stage points with more poles than anybody can count. Joey Logano has 113 and can't qualify as well. So, like, they know how to manufacture points. Paul Wolf and Joey Logano, they know how to manipulate's the wrong word. They know how to operate within the system. And what I mean is, they know, like, when they go to a road course, they have a target number of points. They're not thinking about winning the race. When they will race a certain way. And I just think their experience is going to pay off. And for that reason, I think they move on. I have Joey Logano moving on, no doubt.
I will tell you that the rest of the field, they're obviously advancing to the next round should be number one goal, but their number two goal should be eliminating Joey Logano. Because if you let him get past this first round, I feel he's a threat for a championship once again. So
I wouldn't count him out. I think we've proven you can't count him out.
Yeah, never.
No.
Okay, let's look at the rest of the Penske crew, because we have Austin Cindric in there. Obviously, Ryan Blaney, our most recent winner. I'm going to throw Josh Berry in there. How are you feeling about Team Penske as far as another championship year for them, Steve?
I think they go 4 from 2 in the first round. I think they lose both Cindric and Blaney, and I have Logano and Blaney going deep.
Whoa. Berry.
Blaney or Barry?
Barry. What'd I say? Blaney?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not that bold. I'm not that bold
of a predictor.
Cindric and Barry, I think, have a task to advance, and I think Blaney and Logano are going to go deep into the playoffs. I think this is going to be a tale of two sides of the story. Look at the playoffs in general. You have 4 Hendrick cars, you have 4 Gibbs cars, you have what I'm going to call 4 Penske cars. There's 12 of your 16 right there. Right? Like, I mean, they really fill the whole group up very quickly. So there's not enough room for everybody, and I think that Blaney, my only concern about Blaney is, man, if it can happen, it happens to them. They are the DNF kings of the playoffs. So I would say if anyone above the cut line gets eliminated early, it's Blaney, and it's not because he runs bad. Like he could lead the most. Ryan Blaney could lead the most laps in the round of 16 and yet not make it out of the round of 16. Like, it's this fascinating aura around the 12 car where they have, normally they're slow to get going and they show up at the end. This year they come out of the box every race, unbelievable, and you just wait to see what's, quote, gonna happen. And I'd even say they need to clean it up, but I'm not even sure it's they. Like there's some stuff happening to them. Like, I don't believe in racing luck. I think you make your own luck. But if there was ever a pendulum swinging of bad luck, it seems like Blaney has been at the end of that pendulum. Man, they had some stuff happen to him.
7 DNFs this year.
7. We've only run 26 races.
Russell, he finished second in the regular season standings.
Yes.
So that isn't insane to me. 7 DNFs, and he still finished the regular season second in points.
So my concern is when the sample size gets smaller. Let's just talk about how these playoffs work in general. Whether it's round 1, round 2, or round 3, when the sample size goes down to 3 races, he has a little bit of a head start. But we just talked about closest ever. He's only 20 above. So like if one of those DNFs hit at the wrong time, he could absolutely leave Darlington below if that's one of his DNFs, which is shocking to me. When the sample size is 26 weeks, he ended up second, scored second most points of anybody. But in a sample size of 3, it's hard to recover from a DNF, whether it's your doing or somebody else's.
Yeah, so
this format definitely rewards winning and excellence.
Yeah, I see your point now of you really have to have You cannot have a DNF week, especially in this opening round. Like if you make a poor mistake, especially early in a race, yikes. Good luck.
But he's one of those that has the firepower to come back and win too. Like
He
he was
does.
leading and ran out of gas at Gateway with like 3 to go last year.
Yep.
Like he's great at Bristol.
I think this is the hardest one for me to predict yet. Every year I always have like a favorite. I wouldn't say I have a favorite, but there's like a trending favorite because of performance, maybe even a 2 or 3 guys. But Russell, is this fair to say? I'm not going to say equal, but all near the top. 5, 24, 11, 12, 20, 9, 19, 22. You can make a case for all of them to go very, very deep into the playoffs.
For sure. For sure. Yep.
I mean, Christopher Bell has won 3 races, yet hasn't won since when?
Who knows?
Yeah, those were all in a row, right?
Yeah. And it was a year and a half ago.
Feels
like it. I've been in Mexico. I've been everywhere since he won.
Seriously, we've traveled the globe since Christopher Bell.
I had to do. I just did 14 weeks with Russell. I feel like I've been around for it's been years.
It's true.
You're doing a lot of question asking. You haven't
Who's
thrown
my
anything
pick
up.
to
Who's
win?
your 4 going out? No, go ahead. Put your name
Who's
next
my
to some.
pick to win? How in the
No.
world?
Who's not going to make it?
I mean, if you want me to take low hanging fruit right now, the 5, just because he's leading. But I mean,
well, let's start it
if
the
I
other
have to
way.
look
Does
at the
Alex
tracks-
Bowman make it? Does Alex Bowman make it out of the first round?
I do not think so. I do not
Okay.
think Alex Bowman makes it out of the first round.
How about Dylan? So you and I are split on that one. How about Dylan?
I do not think Austin Dillon makes it out of the first round.
So you have Reddick advancing.
I have Reddick advancing, and I have Logano and Barry switching.
Ooh.
Right now. That's it. But that's just because I'm just going off of statistics from the last 4 years of Joey Logano.
Okay.
Joey Logano racer, I think he advances, and he's probably
well, let's get to the $1 million question. Does SVG make it? Because that's what everybody wants to talk about.
through this first round. Oh wow.
Let's
okay,
go
so
to the tape, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the tape. Russell, SVG. How many points? He has 2,022. You says he needs about 2075. So that means he only needs to make about 53 points up. My quick math says 53 points. We'll give him 60. We'll say he has to make 18 to 19 points a race. Can SVG do it? Go to the tail of the tape, Russell.
Yeah, so he needs like 18 points a race, basically, is what I say. And on these types of tracks, he's been scoring about just under 11 points a race.
Oh.
So, now he's had some better runs lately, like Richmond.
So I got a question, Professor. I got a question, teacher. So when you say he's scoring 11, is it a linear or has it been bell curving up in the last month? Because he has the ability. I only say this because if you don't know the SVG story, right? He's new to ovals. His learning curve. He seems to me from the booth, he's like not only running better, but his maneuvering on the racetrack is getting better and better and better every week for me. So do you feel that? What's his average over like the last 2 months, maybe? Way better.
So I'd say you just look at Richmond as a positive for him. He scored 23 points there, finished 14th. But his big issue is stage points. Like he needs to score stage points. Like
he can.
If you're gonna,
he's not gonna. No, it's not gonna happen, dog. He ain't gonna score 1 stage point in the first 3 races.
Okay, Russell, do that same thing for the 2 of Austin Cindric. Like how many points does the 2 need to make?
Does he need to make?
He needs a lot. He needs dang near 20 a race. SVG on a good day, and this is not a knock, he would tell you himself, if he's running 11th to 15th, we're like, man, good run for SVG on an oval. And when they throw the green and white checkered flag, he gets wada, zero, nothing.
Yeah.
No stage points. Austin Cindric could run 6th, having a pretty good day. And when they throw that green and white checkered flag, he scores stage points. And like that's where the field starts to deviate. That's what we don't talk about enough is it's not where you finish the race. It's how many points you scored. I mean, you look at the season. Austin Cindric has 135 stage points. SVG has 53.
All right. So SVG is eliminated for you.
Okay, here you go. Russell wins the last non-speedway, non-road course that SVG ran laps inside the top 10.
Well, I think he hasn't scored stage points on one of those tracks.
Daytona.
That's a speedway.
It's a
Oh,
speedway.
non-speed. I thought you said non-road course.
So okay, hold on. Listen to what he just said. His 53 stage points, non-road course, non-speedways. So we're gonna say it's about 15 races. I'd have to do the math, but it's gonna be about 15 races. He's scored 0 stage points. 0. He's definitely not gonna get one in the first round of the playoffs. I think SVG, it's going to be very close if he can make it or not. I don't know, because I think it's hard to judge. I think he really likes Darlington. Bristol is probably going to be his biggest challenge.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see. I think he's the hardest to predict because he's on the upward trend. But if he does get eliminated, I bet you can do the math on stage points. The guy that eliminates him probably eliminates him on stage points alone.
So do you have Ross advancing to the next round?
I shockingly do. I don't know why. It is about the one car, but like he just doesn't go away. You just can't shake the poor guy. Like,
yeah,
it's a compliment. He's just that guy that you just can't eliminate.
Okay, so then let's look at this opening round.
Yep.
Who does this favor? Let's go on the flip side of Darlington, Worldwide Technology, and Bristol.
A+ opening round. Couldn't be better. We talk a lot about the playoffs and how they work and who deserves and all of this stuff that I think people can have their opinions. That's fine. But the simple fact to me is we're going to line 16 drivers up with their total body of work over the first 26 weeks. And we're going to go to what I consider as blue collar, as standard NASCAR, as tough a tests as they come, with St. Louis being a little bit of an exception. We've only been there 3 times. So I think Darlington, the Southern 500, is the toughest test on the NASCAR schedule. I don't think there's any freebies, any gimmies, no gimmicks, no side this, no strategy, no, like, line up, toe-to-toe, and it's top to bottom. You have to have great power for new tires. You have to have great handling for old tires. You got to have great pit crew because you're going to be forced to stop. You're going to do 4 tires probably 8, 9, 10 times over the course of the day. So your pit crew can pause it. Like, it's the best, right? St. Louis is a little bit of a wild card for me personally. I've never raced there. We've only been there 3 times, but I still think it's a great racetrack. And then Bristol, I know some feel like you can get caught up in people's stuff because you can. It moves quickly, but not like a super speedway. Like, you know, other than Ryan Blaney, who seems to have a magnet for wrecking while leading it or getting wrecked while leading it, Bristol, you know, if you run well there, you score a lot of points. So who does the first round for me? First person it really highlights is the fan, because when we leave Bristol with 12 drivers, the asterisks are gone. If you want to come in now with an asterisk next to SVG and say he's a road course guy, and you want to say, well, you know, Austin Dillon's only good at Richmond and Josh Berry hasn't won since the beginning of the year, like, those are fair arguments, and you can have your asterisks. But when we leave Bristol, erase the asterisks. Like, we have filtered it out, and if they have survived, then good for them. And I think they have an amazing chance. But to your question, who does the first round favor? The favorites. Larson, Byron, Hamlin, Blaney, Bell. You know, they don't want to go to the Roval. They don't want to go to Talladega. They wish we ran Bristols and Darlingtons and Kansases for 10 straight weeks, because they have the firepower. I mean, what metric do you want to use, whether it's points or stage points or average running position or just speed or qualify? Like, there's not a metric that doesn't put those names towards the top of the list. That was my rant, Russ. I saw a lot of head nodding, which I don't normally get from you.
I hate this. I hate this part of the program when I have to agree with him. I totally agree with him. Like, it's going to be
Give him one, Russ.
Joe Gibbs, Hendrick,
Yeah.
you know, Penske type of tracks.
Well, and that was my next question, because Russell just said the 3 teams. If you had to pick one, Steve, over these next 3 races that was going to have more success, is it Hendrick, Joe Gibbs, or Penske?
Yes.
No, you can't do that.
So Penske won. I'll help you here, Stevie. So Penske won 2 of the 3 races at Gateway.
Well, hold on. My math has been wrong since I've sat down. Gibbs has 3 in because I keep forgetting Ty Gibbs missed.
Eyes out, yeah.
So I've said 4 about 6 times. I appreciate Russell, the stat guy on here, correcting me.
Well,
Just let me keep going, Russ, being factually inaccurate. Thanks, pal. Really looking for the guy. But go ahead.
No, I'm just saying Gateway is like a Penske track. They've won.
It is totally a Penske track. Other than Reddick or maybe a Bubba Wallace, all 3 races are won at a Penske, Hendrick, and Gibbs. No doubt.
Yeah, but you can't. You have to pick.
I don't even think you have to make that case, like, for 23-11. I'm just not sure they win. I think they both advance, but But
So,
those three
okay,
are gonna
I'll tell you
win
the
those.
answer. The weakest of the three is Penske because Barry and Cindric, I think, will run outside. I don't think they'll run. Like, if you're looking at batting averages, I think that Gibbs' 3 and Hendrick's 4 are going to fill the top 5 everywhere but St. Louis.
Okay.
I think St. Louis is going to be a Ford track.
Okay.
Look, it's really hard. Like, I don't know.
It is
And
really
Kyle
hard.
Larson, he
yeah.
could have ran in reverse and won Bristol. Let's make him just unbelievable in the next 3 weeks. Or
Yeah.
we'll give it to Bell. He won 3 in a row earlier in the year. If he wins 3 more in a row, that's 15 more points going into the round with the Roval. 15 more points going to the round at Talladega. So I think when you look at the top 5 or 6 drivers, their regular season may have ended, but they're like still trying to path their way to the championship 4. So I know we keep looking at the round of 16, but if we look ahead to the championship 4, I think there's 7, look, 6 of the round of 8 are going to come out of Larson, Byron, Hamlin, Blaney, Bell, Elliott, Briscoe, right? So like 6 of the 8 are going to come out of those 7 or 8 drivers. So if you think you're going to line up, you can't get ahead of yourself. But if you're William Byron or Denny Hamlin, I bet Denny Hamlin is thinking, I am currently, on the reset, I am behind Larson. I don't have enough playoff points. So I need to go win. Winning Darlington, a place that he's dominated, would be 5 more playoff points. That would be, the difference. Remember that he had that engine penalty last year that hurt his playoff points. And I think that took the momentum out of the 11 car into the playoffs. So I think everybody's going to say, can Denny Hamlin win the championship? The answer is always yes, yet he never has. I think for Denny Hamlin to win the championship, it kind of starts at Darlington, right? He needs to win 1 or 2, get the momentum, get the playoff points, right now he doesn't have a mulligan. He does in round 1, but he doesn't in round 2 or round 3 when we start dropping guys off the bottom of the list. That's what makes this playoff format so fun is it continues to develop. It isn't like we just reset it and do it 3 times. That's not what happens. We race, we eliminate, we reset with a different reset. We reset with a different, think about that. That would be like, hey, this is how this really works. Think about this. Let's go to NCAA. This is like seeding the top 64, playing the first round, and then reseeding for the round of 32, and then reseeding for the round of 16. And what I mean by that is right, Russell, you
kind of, but yes.
You can move your seeding up by running well.
Yes.
Okay, so Russell, statistically speaking, is there a driver that we should be surprised didn't make this 16 playoff field? Was there anybody that you're looking at the numbers like, man?
No. I would say we have the best 16.
So who were the 4 statistically? Who were the first 4 out? Just tear the Band-Aid off. I know you know the number.
Busher, Priest, Ty Gibbs, Kyle Busch.
No. I'm talking first 4 out of the round of 16. Who doesn't make it?
Oh, he's back
to
the 16.
I know you've run the numbers. Who doesn't make it to the round of 12? Let's just have them. This is not your opinion. This is running the numbers. We know.
So this is who I would say is in the worst shape. Okay, I'm not going to say they're going to be eliminated, but I would say SVG, Bubba, Barry, and Dylan. Bubba's right there. Bubba's the one where you can make a case where it's Bubba or Cindric or Ross right there on the edge.
So you would say that the battle statistically should come down to the 23, the 2, and the 1.
Correct.
Just looking purely on points gained, those 3 are going to be racing at Bristol.
It's a variety of different numbers went into that.
And if I had to pick of those 3, if I looked at just Bristol, Bubba probably has the best.
Agreed.
Yep. Well, Bubba's really strong at Darlington. I like his chances at Darlington. He has not been good.
Could you imagine a Bubba win at Darlington?
Yeah. But he's not been good at Gateway. And then I think he finished 3rd in this race last year, right?
So I have another just crazy question. Who's the best at Phoenix? Bell won in the spring.
Christopher Bell.
Penske last year.
It's been more of a Penske type track.
It's fascinating to me how drivers and teams approach this. What will Chase Briscoe's mindset be? Right? He's only done this once, and it was talking about an emotional tidal wave at SHR, winning his way in. He said after he won at Gibbs that it almost wasn't enjoyable because he's expected to win. So now just take that quote, and now what does that mean for the playoffs? Is he entering the playoffs like, man, I can't wait that I'm here, I'm going to go win a championship, or man, I have to run good because I'm in a Gibbs car? I love Chase Briscoe. I love his approach. I think he's a great driver. He's continued to move forward. These guys are all great drivers, though. It really comes down to execution in the moment. The goal, if I'm anywhere in the top half, my goal is that execution doesn't matter in the first three. Like we just don't make it a moment. Just run well enough that if you are Ryan Blaney, you would love to leave Bristol with nobody have said your name for 3 weeks. You're like,
exactly. Under the radar.
That was stress-free.
Russell, has Briscoe won a pole at any of these 3 tracks coming up?
He won a pole at Gateway.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yep. That'd be his poles in this round.
Okay. So I will be, Stevie, interested to see come Gateway, knowing that they had speed and loading off of the truck when he was racing in Stewart Haas equipment, what the unloading speed for the 19 will be at Gateway.
Oh, he qualifies inside the top 5 for all 3 of these. It's truly remarkable just the raw pace he has qualified.
They have so much speed in that car.
All they have to do for me,
really impressed.
This is for them. It's the pathway out of the first round is a little bit what I said about SVG. For Chase Briscoe, it's stage points. Like, you can't qualify as well as he does and not score stage points, but yet somehow they kind of do that. I mean, I think they need to score 10 stage points a race. That's only running 5th in both. Like if he could score 25 stage points, he's there. That'll get him there.
All right. So
I love this time of year.
Me too. I have a little bit of a soapbox about folks that just want to poo-poo all over this format. I'm not saying you can't have your opinion, but come along for the ride. We're all having fun here. Just have a good time. Enjoy. Win in advance. Win in you're in. I'm not saying it's correct or incorrect, but when you get to this point of the season, you could feel Daytona felt different. It felt intensity was ramped up. Obviously, a lot on the line. And I have news for folks over the next however many weeks, especially these next 6 weeks. It's a different kind of intensity. You go to the racetrack, it feels different. Drivers' meetings are different. The drivers are talking to each other less. It's not as smiles and friendlies, and we're not going on vacations. And it is playoff time. That's what I appreciate. Greatest of all times, Super Bowl runs, NBA championship runs. It comes from playoff seasons and finding the hot stove at the right time of the year. So I'm excited to see who turns the wick on for the rest.
For me, I just want to see what type of playoffs it is. We've gone to some playoffs where playoff drivers win every single race. Then we've had some, last year, right? We had this streak of non-playoff winners. My gut tells me this year that we're going to have, if not 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 will be playoff guys at Darlington. 9 out of 10 will be playoff guys at Bristol. I just feel like, I don't know.
Wait, that adds a good question that I have not asked yet. Does anybody outside of the playoff field play spoiler in these first 3 weeks? Is there a winner that's not a playoff driver?
Russ?
No.
Okay.
I think you can make a case for Brad K.
At Darlington. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could make a case for Buescher and Brad K. I just wonder how low they're like. Think about poor Brad, right? He had a child. He had this. He had like it's got to be an emotional man. He's got to be tired.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll wait and see. I mean, here's the thing. I have no idea. If I knew, I wouldn't work on the weekends.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? Isn't it so fun to go to the racetrack on Sundays and just be like, man.
All right, let's flip this. We said Blaney and DNFs, right? Who is the biggest name to potentially shock us all with a lack of advancement? Is it Blaney with his DNFs? Is Larson being the one seat? Because Larson has not really been Larson lately, right? Like we do it. It wouldn't shock me if he wins the next 3. I'm not trying to jinx the guy. Well, that's what I mean, though. Let's not forget about Darlington, where he wrecked lap 1?
Yeah,
6.
but he also
Whenever he
won
wrecked,
Bristol.
it was early.
Yeah, well, you look. There's like several guys coming in here without any momentum. Like Denny's been 24th or worse in 3 of the last 4. Like that's not going to get it done. Like 24th will not advance him if he finishes 24th each week.
I mean, are we
That
going
would
to
be
be
big.
surprised? Are we going to be surprised if Christopher Bell? I mean, I know this is looking at
I
places
think-
like Bristol, but he hasn't won since March.
I know, but not the way this field is so close. Like it's so hard for like those guys to have a bad race. Like it's like you can't have a bad race.
So does that mean you race harder or easier?
You're the analyst.
Man, we should have Russ on every week.
Oh, don't it? Listen,
I got the first correct, and he just gave "you're the analyst" response to Steve. Man, oh man.
Well, either way,
Okay,
it's going to
so-
happen at Darlington in the Southern 500, which is statistically the longest race of the year, and I love every lap, every grueling mile.
Darlington is historic. It's iconic to the sport. You feel the history when you go in this place. I'm glad that the Southern 500 is back in the playoffs. I missed it when it wasn't.
So I would never move it off the Labor Day weekend, but I'm telling you, if it wasn't Labor Day weekend and if the market wasn't very small, Darlington, South Carolina, it would be a championship race of all championship races. I would just say that. Now, I don't think it should be. I don't think it should be because I think Labor Day weekend is a special time to be at Darlington. So I'm not suggesting it, but I'm just saying that's the style of races. It's just amazing. Like it has everything we want. This playoff run, like when I look at the tracks, man, it kind of had these 10 weeks have a little bit of everything for me. So
I agree. All right. So we've broken it all down, but it'll be Darlington coming up this Sunday for the Cookout Southern 500. That's going to be at 6 p.m. Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll head to Worldwide Technology Raceway in St. Louis. And then we'll finish off this round at Bristol Motor Speedway. So Russ, final thoughts from us. You coming back? Did Stevie scare you off too bad? I hope you will return.
No, you've been great, Alex. I like when you're host much better than when Stevie is.
Love it. All right, Steve. I'll see you Sunday at Darlington. See you for the Southern 500.
no season like the postseason. Let's get it rolling.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week on Inside the Race.